Hello, it's Mike here on my Nintendo 64, and for this video I am doing an unboxing of the Mini Arcade Pro by iMP Gaming. Now this is a mini arcade cabinet like no other. Well, yes and no. So basically it is a mini arcade that you can put your Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch OLED or your Nintendo Switch 2 into, and it has its own fight stick that you can use to actually play the games with. Now, there have been some mini arcades for the Nintendo Switch, but it was only just so that you could put the actual console into it. I have had a couple myself. Unfortunately, there's no one around at the moment. Nowhere around. But this thing, this bad boy, is very, very cool. And it comes in this box and everything's all together, and it's got its own little protective pieces and everything here. So all I'm going to do is just take everything out, and it's got what they call cassettes. Now the cassettes are these things where you actually slide your Switch into. Okay, so there's one for the Switch and the Switch OLED, and then there is a bigger one for the Switch 2. And it is very, very easy to put together. So basically I'm just getting all the pieces out now. This is the actual fight stick itself. Okay, right, and it has the USB here, input at the back, so you can actually plug in your Switch 2 adapter or your Switch adapter to, you know, put a charge into the system so you can keep running it the whole time. You don't have to have it connected to the mains in order to use it. So if you're using like the Switch 2, for example, and you plug the Switch 2 into this, it actually takes a charge from the Switch 2. So, you know, how cool is that? Which means you can play it until obviously the battery runs out on it. Or like I said, you plug in the mains and you can just play with this all day long. Now these all just like clip on. It's got its very own design here, so it's got like very, very cool like video gamey design there, and obviously some like retro arrows and, you know, explosions and things. And it's got 8 buttons here, and actually all labeled as well. So you've got your A, your B, your Y, your X, R, L, Z, R, Z, L. You've got your omnidirectional joystick there, which goes click, click, click. Very, very cool. And then you've even got buttons up the top here as well. So you've got your minus, your plus, you've got your turbo, home, and the C. So you can even do game chat through this. Okay, so it's got a special button just for that. Now, as you can see, it only has one stick, a single stick. Now, this is great for like typical racing games where you're only going to need to use one control, so like one joystick. Obviously like 3D platformers which require, you know, using like 2 sticks, so the right joystick or the D-pad for certain games as well. But this little gizmo here, right, you can actually slide that across to suit your needs. So if you need the D-pad, for example, this now works as a D-pad. If you need the right stick for the camera, it now works as the camera. There you are. That's all there is to it. Now, like I said, depending on the nature of the game, if you're playing very, very simple games like Street Fighter 6, for example, you don't need to use any of those buttons whatsoever. If you're playing a typical game where the camera follows behind your main character almost all the time, so you'd only have to use it as and when, then you can use the little toggle up here, right? The little toggle switch to switch between the 2 points, or between the 3 points rather. So whether you want to have the left joystick, the right joystick, or, you know, the D-pad. It's even got this bit at the back, right? So you can actually plug in now 12 cartridges. Okay, and they do kind of just slide in relatively easy as well. So they're not too hard to, you know, get out. But do bear in mind, you can very, very easily lose the cartridges. So, you know, even though they're easy to pull out, you don't want to be, you know, just storing games there willy-nilly. If you move it about a lot, you can lose them, right? But it also has for micro SD cards as well in the back. So if you've got a number of micro SD cards with your games on it, you can actually, you know, store them in the back of this, and that just slots in the back there. Okay, and then it catches, and, you know, that's in there. That's solid. You know, that's not really going to go anywhere. You can pull it out, obviously, if you need to. And then we are missing just the bit that goes along the top here. Okay. here's me just putting it together. I'm not even explaining how, to put it all together. But, it's got these like little rails and that you can just slot things into. And then if you ever need to take it apart, that's also very, very easy. That just goes on the top there and then it just clips. But you can just push that out if ever you need to, okay? And then like for the bottom here, so obviously if you used to take it apart, you take that out first, then that on the back, and then it's got these little like levers here that you can push together, and then you can just take the sides off. And there you are. It even comes with a little bit of like protective plastic on it as well, so you can, once you've got it all together, you can then just take that off. And then, hey presto. So there it is, looking a little bit fuller now. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to try it with the Nintendo Switch 2 so you can see how it goes. Now there is a very, very important thing here that they do mention, and that is to make sure that your console, if you go to the settings, which I should do right now, so go to settings, okay, and then you go down to where it says controllers and accessories, and you make sure, you absolutely make sure, if I find it here, I may have even gone past it, controller vibration, change controller setup, Joy-Con 2 mouse controls, mouse sensitivity update, calibrate, test. Nintendo Switch Pro Controller wired communication. This needs to be on, because what that means is that when this plugs into here, you can still use the joystick and the buttons on it. Much like if you have a Pro Controller and you plug the Pro Controller into the Switch, if you don't have that activated, you can't use the Pro Controller. It just goes into charging mode. And all this does, just slides into there as well. Another rail. You go straight in, and then you can see at the top there, paired. Just paired straight away. Sometimes they can be a little sticky with the Switch, so you may have to take it out and put it in, take it out and put it in a couple of times, or you may have to clean around the terminals. But once it starts working, it's absolutely fine. Like I said, you can play with games like Street Fighter 6. You can play classic games like Donkey Kong from like the Nintendo Switch Online, like the NES games, the Super Nintendo games, and all those kind of lovely stuff. You can also play like the latest Pokemon game on it, but because that does rely on having to use the D-pad to change around your team, and then the right stick for the camera and everything, it can be a bit tricky to play that. Hyrule Warriors is another game that you can technically play with it. If you're going in a straight line and you're fighting enemies, you can see around that area, you can, have a blast with it. And also games like Mario Kart World or Cruising Blast, those kind of games like Arcade Racers and that are absolutely perfect on this system. So I'll just give you a quick little show. Okay, now that it's all connected up, what I do need to make sure is that it's the only controller connected, at least the one that is first. Okay, so let me just connect to that first. It's connected up to my light there for a moment. So now if I press L and R, boom, you can see it's connected, and I go okay. Now that I've got that connected, I can use this for absolutely anything. Just go bum, 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 bum. Go into the game itself. Right, click A. There we are, straight into the game. And then you can use these buttons to play with. So it's really, really cool. And if you want to know about more information on this and when it's available to buy, then please be sure to go to www.impgaming.co.uk. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description below as well and in this video so you can see it. And yeah, it's really, really cool to use and to play with. And you can even put it to sleep. So if I go to sleep mode, put it to sleep, and then you can turn it on as well. Press the button, and it will eventually turn itself on. It's trying to. Now that I say it, it doesn't want to, but it does turn on itself. For some reason. Come on. I've had this working so many times, and as soon as I record, it decides it doesn't want to. But it does work. It does. You just saw me push the home button to, turn it off, and it can wake up the console as well. I just don't know why it's not doing it right now. But anyhow, not a problem. It does also have, on the bottom here, it's got a reset button. Oh, it's just turned itself on now. It does have a reset button at the bottom in case, you ever have slightly connection issues or errors and things, and you just need to press that to reset. So let's see if we try this again now. See, it worked then, didn't it? It worked. You saw that. It worked. Right. And then, hey presto, yeah, we want to play that. Jump into it. Street Fighter 6. There you go. So it is a really, really cool, little piece of kit. I really, really like it. I mean, obviously, if you're at home, and you can be playing on the TV and that anyway, but like if you're out and about and you kind of like, want to flaunt it a little bit, or you've got friends around who want to, play with the arcade stick, you can. It's pretty cool. I really, really like it. It's a cool little nifty design. And like I said, there were a number of them that were from Microids. So they had, from Microids, they had like a cardboard or like wood. It wasn't cardboard. It was like plywood kind of thing with the designs of like Street Fighter or Dragon Ball and stuff like that. But you could put it together and it had elastic bands. And it would basically, your console just sit inside it and that's it. It didn't have any buttons. This has got buttons. This has got actual buttons that you can use and you can play with to play your games how you want to. So if you like that typical like retro feel of, having the like the arcade stick and, the fight buttons, the arcade buttons, you've got that with this thing. So please be sure to check it out. If you're interested, then please do check out the link for more information when these become available. This was sent to me via iMP Gaming and Overload PR. So thank you very, very much, guys, for sending this over to me. It is really, really cool looking piece of kit. And it's very, very, tough and robust looking as well. And I look forward to, testing it out more, and be sure to check out our review when that comes out very, very soon. So thank you very much for watching this video and for you for bearing with me until the end of this. So if you want to see more of our content, then please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, MikeTendo64. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and the like. And if you want to stay up to date with all our latest news, reviews, interviews, personal reviews, and more, please be sure to go over to www.miketendo64.com. Well, until next time. Just before we actually finish up the video, I do want to say that we have a little pre-announcement in that we have partnered up with iMP Gaming to give away one of these mini arcade pros. So if you want to be in a chance to win one of these bad boys, if you want to get hold of one, right, you're going to have to pay very, very close attention to our website, www.miketendo64, and also our social media over on X and Facebook, and also on Blue Sky as well. And I will list the details and the requisites that you will need to do in order to be able to participate for a chance to win one of these. Obviously, Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 not included. Don't anybody cut that. Not included. But you can win one of these to be sent to you where you live. I know. So that you can own one of these. Fantastic little piece of kit. Little piece of kit here. It really is. Yeah. So obviously, please be sure to like, subscribe, and stay in the know over at MikeTendo64 and on our social media as well, because obviously, we will be announcing the giveaway and what it is that you need to do to be able to participate. So with that in mind, I am now finished. So until next time, everyone, keep on gaming.